Now, you know I follow you a lot. So after I seen when Mikey came back after this situation with Bob Earn, I seen y'all did the co-joint. How many fights was it with Mikey? And after the Mikey and Earl fight, you said that you gave Earl all this praise. And you said that was like one of the best performances you've seen in your entire career watching boxing. And you've seen a lot of fights, right? And you said
Yes.
it was the Errol Spence era, and it's the big
Yes.
fights out there, and go make them happen.
Yes, no, absolutely. I'm a big believer in Errol Spence, and this is a dangerous fight he takes on. And as I said, I have to give all the credit to him and his team to accept that fight, to keep on challenging himself. And there were like people out there after he had his horrible accident. They thought like maybe he's never going to be the same. But man, I think he came back, and maybe came back even better. So. I hate to say that because I hope he's never going to race in a car again, but he certainly came back stronger and big. And he when we look what he did with Mikey Garcia. You mentioned that Mikey Garcia was back then in the top 5 most people's pound for pound list.
True.
Just an amazingly gifted athlete and just beautiful to watch as well. And I mean, look what Spence did that night. It was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. And so I think sitting there ringside and seeing Spence in action against such an amazing pound-for-pound fighter, Mikey Garcia, that made me, I was sort of like a believer before, but then when I saw what he did there, I knew time has started, and that is the Errol Spence era. So I think he is today. I think he's still a little bit underrated because, when I read these pound for pound lists, you have rightfully, I don't think if anybody makes anyone else but Canelo number 1, then they don't really know what's going on in the sport. So Canelo is clearly number 1. But then you have you still have Lomachenko there, you have Crawford there, you have, I think Spence, in my opinion, should be number 2 on the list, based on what he has done and the kind of fighters he fought. And, they have I think the monster Inoue, who fought last week and had a great performance. He is obviously on there as well, but I could not explain why I would put him in front of Errol Spence. I mean, I was in Tokyo on that fight for the World Boxing Super Series final with Donaire and with Inoue, and I mean Donaire almost knocked him out, broke his eye socket. The kid couldn't fight for 18 months, 12 months, something like that. Yeah. So I mean, and then you look at the kind of performances Errol has, how dominant they are. I think the way you win, not just that you win, but the way you win and how easy you make it look is really what makes in my books a fighter a candidate for that top pound for pound spot or top 3 pound for pound spot. And that's why I say as well with Canelo, it's not just that Canelo is beating all these guys, but what Canelo does is he makes it look easy. He makes these guys who are the best in their respective division, he makes them look like they don't belong. And that is the sign of pound for pound the best fighter in the world. And that's how Mayweather was. I mean, he just, hit and don't be hit. That was his thing. And he was a master, and he just executed perfectly, and that's exactly what Canelo does. And that's why I think Errol Spence, sometimes I feel when people talk about these pound for pound discussions, that I think Errol Spence should be there as number 2.
Thank you so much, Richard.